There's a number of things that Dave Chappelle can't stop doing. He can't stop being funny. He can't stop making jokes about certain groups and certain people, trans, LGB, Republicans. And also, he can't stop being controversial. And apparently, Brooklyn rapper Dili says Dave Chappelle's classic Making the Band sketch ruined his career. And apparently this refers to a sketch that was done on Chappelle's show back in 2004, 20 years ago. This article is in BET. Dili, who came to fame as a member of MTV's Making the Band, claims that Dave Chappelle's infamous sketch that made fun of him was one of the major reasons that his music career could not get off the ground, Hip Hop DX reports. On the latest episode of We Are Flatbush podcast, Dylan said that the skit, which was one of the most popular on Chappelle's show, made it difficult for him to be taken seriously as an artist. He nonetheless found ways to make it work for him. He said, I had to do that because they said Dylan is top 5. Dylan. These are words that I never said. I never created, Dylan explained. I never put this out. I had to trademark it and go through fights to trademark it, but Dave made this up. He's a genius. I never said that, so I have no control at all. He said, anytime I send my music to DJs to say, oh, that's a dude that Dave Chappelle made fun of. Nah, I'm good on that. Not only that, but now every promoter says, nah, we're not booking him. So now I have a newborn and the fridge is empty in 2005 and no one is calling me. Everyone is laughing, he continued. Because of the skit, Dylan claimed that labels refused to work with him due to the popularity of Chappelle's impersonation of him. He says, I'm a legend now. But back then, I'm effed up for what you just did. And you're not answering the phone. At that time, no one picking up their phone, not one label. And at that time, you had to sign to a record label. And I called all of them direct. And they said, I can't help you. That joke is gone, boy. That joke took over. That joke actually burned your career. That joke burned it. During an interview with Uprocks in 2014, Dylan implied that the skit led to opportunities for him and said that the comedic moment was one of the best that the show produced. He said, you take a joke and everyone's cracking on you, but the next question is, what is he up to? What kind of music does he have? Can we book him? In 2017, Dylan and Chappelle met at a House of Vans event in New York City where he admitted that he became more famous because of the skit than for his music, going by Dili and signed onto Akon's Con Live. He released Pain to Power in 2017. Now, here's how some people responded on Twitter. One person says, Dylan got to take some accountability. The joke came from how he was acting on the show, like a diva. Wow. Another person said, the skit did make the band look bad, but it was supposed to make Puff look ridiculous for putting these people through this nonsense that had nothing to do with making music. But I can see how it ruined the perception of how he would be viewed because it did make them look like a joke. Another person said Dylan could have leaned into the joke, claim he's that nice by making hotter music and better choices. Instead, he let a couple of skits take over. A couple of skits, should have said, but yeah, I got that. So, I mean, I don't know. Is this the new thing now? Dave Chappelle is going to be blamed for ruining people's careers. I wouldn't necessarily say that either one is at fault per se. I mean, there is something to be said for the idea that, hey, you know, these comedians out here, and Dave Chappelle put it best. I mean, he said word for word. I mean, he said comedians are going to be a-holes. And he's talking about himself included. And, you know, I've always said that's a lot of comedians are going to be like that. So Chris Rock, Hughley, Harvey, I mean, Cedric, all of them, Martin Lawrence, going back to Eddie and Richard. I mean, that's just how they all are, whether we like it or not. And the best thing that you could do is what the one person said, where it's like, hey, kind of just lean into it and continue doing you. I don't believe that some of these people who didn't call him or ghosted him or refused to call him should have done so because of the set or because of that skit. But at the same time, I don't think that that means, Dave Chappelle just single-handedly ruined his career, at that given time. So I don't know. I just found that to be interesting. I don't even remember how I stumbled across that. I just was going through YouTube and it popped up somehow. So I'm just like, wow. So I don't know. I mean, what are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts? Did Dave Chappelle kind of ruin him in that sense? So I got more stories coming. Like and subscribe.